The gavel dropped, the internet froze,
Ah.
and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're unpacking a headline that has, basically taken over everyone's feeds. Quote, "She exposed everything. The Warner family drama is getting messy."
Such a wild headline.
Right. And usually when a headline like that hits our timelines, we kind of prepare for the standard tabloid stuff.
Yeah, petty feuds.
Exactly. Petty feuds, maybe a PR stunt, or just a really messy breakup. But this story is entirely different. We are looking at a legitimately heartbroken family, a sudden tragedy, and this million-dollar legal war that, honestly, it exposes a fundamental flaw in how our society handles sudden loss.
It really does.
So, welcome to Starscope Report. Join your hosts as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And we have a lot to get into today.
We do. Today's mission is to basically cut through all the tabloid noise and understand the deeply emotional, really high-stakes legal battle that is currently tearing apart the family of the beloved Cosby Show star, Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Yeah, and we're pulling from a massive array of sources to piece this together for this deep dive. I mean, we've got actual court filings.
From a few different places, right?
Yeah, from DeKalb County down in Georgia and Los Angeles County out in California. Plus, we're looking at on-the-ground reporting from TMZ, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and we're analyzing this highly viral CBS interview.
That interview was so tense.
Incredibly tense. But most importantly, we are integrating some really profound psychological analysis from empathy.com. Because, in the midst of all the celebrity drama, the sensational headlines, the millions of dollars currently frozen in legal limbo.
Though are real people.
Exactly. Real grieving people hidden underneath all of these very cold legal documents is a profound lesson for all of us about exactly how the human nervous system processes sudden loss.
Okay, so to truly understand the gravity of this lawsuit, we really have to start at the inciting incident. Let's just set the scene for a second.
Yeah, take us back.
It's July 20, 2025. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the actor that, an entire generation grew up watching and loving as Theo Huxtable.
Total icon.
Right, so he's 54 years old. He's vacationing in Costa Rica with his wife, Tenisha, and their 9-year-old daughter. And by all accounts, it's supposed to be this idyllic, beautiful family getaway.
Just a moment to disconnect,
Exactly, bond as a family. But tragedy just strikes without a single warning.
What?
While swimming, Malcolm is caught in this sudden, dangerous undertow. And he accidentally drowns.
It's just so awful.
It is. Tenisha and their daughter were safe on the shore, but in a matter of minutes, their entire world was completely shattered.
Yeah.
And sudden catastrophic loss like that, it just leaves a family completely untethered.
Yeah. There's no time to prepare, no final conversations to bring any kind of closure, no transitional period at all. The brain simply cannot reconcile the fact that a person who was literally there at breakfast is suddenly gone forever.
I can't even imagine.
Right. And grief, particularly sudden grief, it applies this immense pressure to a family structure. And often that pressure just finds the absolute weakest structural point and breaks it.
Which brings us to the lawsuit.
Right. So fast forward exactly 1 year. It's the 1-year anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
July 20th, 2026. A day you would normally expect. Quiet morning.
Maybe a private family gathering.
Exactly. But instead, Tenisha Warner files a massive lawsuit in DeKalb County, Georgia. And the target of that lawsuit is Malcolm's own mother, Pamela Warner.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack this. Because the financial details driving this lawsuit are, they're hyper-specific and honestly kind of staggering.
Very specific.
Tenisha is suing over a prenuptial agreement that she and Malcolm signed in May 2022. And keep in mind, they had dated for 5 years before this, but they signed this document just days before their wedding.
Right, which is pretty common, actually.
Yeah, but according to the court filings, at that time, Malcolm's net worth was sitting around $3.4 million, and he was earning about $680,000 a year.
Okay.
And Tenisha claims that in this prenup, Malcolm made several very clear, legally binding financial promises to secure her future.
And the lawsuit actually lays out these promises item by item. It assigns a literal dollar value to every broken vow.
What are the exact demands?
Well, first, Malcolm was supposed to maintain a $1 million life insurance policy where Tenisha was explicitly named as the sole beneficiary.
Okay, that makes sense for a family.
Right. Second, she was to receive a $5,000 monthly salary for her role, acting as his, quote, chief of staff and assistant during their marriage.
Wait, hold on. I need to stop you there because my mind is kind of getting stuck on the mechanics of this. A $5,000 monthly salary just to act as his chief of staff while also being his wife.
It sounds unusual, yeah.
I mean, on one hand, that sounds incredibly transactional for a marriage, but then on the other hand, managing a working celebrity's daily life, handling the logistics of travel, PR, appearances.
It is a lot of work.
That is a full-time job. I guess I'm just trying to figure out why this wasn't just shared marital income. Why mandate a salary in a prenup?
So high net worth estate planning often compartmentalizes money to protect the underlying assets.
Okay.
By putting a salary in a prenup, it establishes a very formal debtor-creditor relationship rather than just a typical husband-wife dynamic.
Ah, I see.
And that distinction becomes the absolute core of the legal conflict that's happening right now. But let me finish the list of demands first.
Oh, right. Sorry, go ahead.
So third, he promised a $16,000 annual tax-free anniversary payment.
Wow.
Yeah. And finally, regular contributions to a Roth IRA and their daughter's college funds. Okay, Tenisha claims Malcolm simply never followed through on setting any of these things up. The policy was never bought, the accounts were never funded.
Oh, man.
So she tallied up the unpaid obligations, and the total demand is exactly $1,276,042.46.
Down to the cent. But you were saying about the debtor-creditor thing.
Right, Tenisha isn't just suing Malcolm's estate generally. She is suing Pamela Warner specifically.
His mother.
Yes, because Pamela is the successor trustee of the Warner Family Trust. And here is the kicker. This trust was created back in 1996.
1996.
Yep. Malcolm was 26 years old. This was decades before he ever even met Tenisha. It was 20 years before they even had their daughter.
So if Malcolm was worth $3.4 million, why didn't he just update the trust when he got married? I mean, is it just procrastination, or is it common for high net worth people to keep pre-marriage assets locked away from their spouses indefinitely?
Procrastination is a massive, massive factor in estate planning.
Yeah.
People avoid updating wills and trusts because it basically forces them to confront their own mortality.
Nobody wants to do that.
Right. And Tenisha claims that Malcolm always meant to update this 1996 trust, but, tragically died in that undertow before he could finalize the new plan.
That is so sad.
It is. Because the paperwork was never updated, the 1996 trust dictates that 70% of Malcolm's estate goes to Pamela.
His mom?
Right. And the remaining 30% is split between his father and his half-sister.
Wait, what about his wife and daughter?
His wife and his 9-year-old daughter are completely omitted. Legally speaking, they are facing total disinheritance.
That is wild. It's like signing a contract to move into a beautiful new house, but the foundation was actually poured 30 years ago and legally belongs to someone else.
That's a really good way to put it.
How can a creditor collect on a prenup if the money is locked in a 1996 trust?
That is the exact question the courts have to answer right now. You have a widow armed with a 2022 prenup, which is essentially contract of promises, facing off against a mother armed with a 1996 trust deed, which is essentially a locked vault.
A locked vault, okay.
Let's define these terms clearly. Pamela isn't just a beneficiary here. She's the successor trustee. Think of the trust as a massive financial vault. When Malcolm died, the keys to that vault were legally handed to Pamela.
Right.
She has a strict legal obligation, a fiduciary duty, to only hand out the money exactly as the 1996 instructions dictate.
Regardless of the prenup.
Exactly, no matter what a 2022 prenup says. Now, Tenisha's argument is that Malcolm's estate currently doesn't have enough liquid cash to cover the $1.2 million debt she is owed.
Okay, so what does she do?
So as a creditor, she is asking the court to reach past the estate, break open that family trust, and pull the money directly from the vault.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she actually demanded an order barring Pamela from handing out any money or property from that trust while the case plays out.
So Tenisha is essentially locked out of the estate legally. But, when someone feels silenced in a courtroom, they usually find a microphone elsewhere. And in this case, that microphone was social media.
And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists and the legal deep dives behind them, make sure you're subscribed. We have got even crazier stories ahead.
Definitely hit subscribe.
Because this story, it spills right out of the courthouse and basically right onto our timelines.
It really does. Lawsuits are public record, but the grief driving them is intensely personal.
Yeah.
And the collision of those two things is always, always messy.
Very messy.
According to reports from Presby and U.S. Magazine, on the exact anniversary of Malcolm's death,
The same day the lawsuit was filed.
the very same day Tanisha's lawsuit hit the docket, Pamela Warner posted a tribute to her son on Facebook and Instagram that took a very pointed, very dark turn.
Yeah, I have the post right here. She wrote, quote, "During my year-long journey, I've discovered how cruel, evil, and greedy a human can be."
Wow.
Yeah. She didn't name Tanisha, obviously, but given the timing of a $1.2 million lawsuit, the implication was loud and clear.
Very clear. She went on to say she had, quote, no regrets about her relationship with her son. She wrote, "I knew beyond a doubt that he loved me and, more importantly, trusted me, and he knew that I would love him forever and a day."
That's intense.
And we have to remember, Pamela wasn't just his mother, she was his manager for 40 years.
Right, right.
She built his legacy and his business alongside him from day one.
Pamela was the architect of his career behind the scenes. And building an empire with your child, it creates an incredibly intertwined identity.
I can imagine.
So when her daughter-in-law challenges her authority over the estate, it isn't just a threat to her finances. It feels like a hostile takeover of her life's work with her son.
That makes a lot of sense.
But Tanisha didn't just stay quiet and absorb the social media hit either. She made a countermove of her own. She actually sat down for an exclusive CBS Mornings interview with Gayle King.
Oh, man. You know how Gayle King operates. She is not going to dance around the issue. She asks Tanisha flat out, "Do you communicate with his mom? Are you close to his mom?" And Tanisha completely dodges the question.
Totally dodges that.
She doesn't say yes. She doesn't say no.
The pivot she makes is fascinating. She redirects the conversation to say that everybody is grieving, calling it the biggest loss for all of us.
Very diplomatic.
Right, but then she adds this incredibly revealing statement. She says, "The emotional capacity that I have can be very limited sometimes. Whatever I have to give, the first person to get that is my daughter, and then the second is myself."
Wow.
And Gayle King notes that she and her daughter are a unit, which Tanisha confirms, quote, "a unit."
Unit.
That phrasing draws a very clear, impenetrable boundary.
Yeah.
It basically establishes her and her daughter on one side and the rest of the Warner family on the other.
And the public is watching all of this unfold in real time. Outside voices are starting to weigh in, like Complex Magazine reported on comedian Lonnie Love jumping into the comments section of an Instagram post about the case.
What did she say?
Lonnie wrote, quote, "They both need to work things out for the sake of his daughter." And honestly, that echoes what so many people are thinking.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way.
If you're listening to this and wondering, like, why can't these two women who both clearly loved this man figure this out behind closed doors for the sake of a 9-year-old girl? It feels like a totally valid question.
It does feel valid, but according to Pamela's legal representation, it is drastically more complicated than just, quote, working it out.
Because of the trust.
Exactly. In documents filed in Los Angeles, her lawyer insists that Pamela is genuinely concerned about her granddaughter's well-being and future financial security.
Okay.
She isn't trying to act out of malice or spite. But, returning to that fiduciary duty we talked about, as the administrator of the trust, Pamela legally cannot just ignore the rules written into the 1996 document.
Right, her hands are tied.
If she opens the vault and just hands over $1 million because of a separate contract she had absolutely nothing to do with, she could personally be held legally liable for mismanaging the trust.
So she is trapped by the paperwork just as much as Tanisha is excluded by it.
Exactly.
It looks like a classic tabloid-ready battle of greed versus grief.
Right.
The widow who wants $1 million versus the mother who won't open the vault.
That's how it looks on the surface.
But there is a shocking psychological twist to this dynamic that completely reframes the narrative. Later in the deep dive, we are about to look at why this lawsuit isn't actually about the $1.2 million at all.
And here's where it gets really interesting. We have this brilliant clinical analysis from empathy.com.
Yeah, this was eye-opening.
It was written by a certified therapist named Figs O'Sullivan, and he takes us completely out of the tabloid mentality, out of the whole who is greedy and who is the victim debate, and he brings us down to the human element.
I love that.
He introduces a concept he calls the versus illusion.
The versus illusion. Okay, let's unpack this.
So the legal system is adversarial by design, right?
Right.
Plaintiff versus defendant. It creates this illusion that two family members are standing on opposite sides of a line drawn in the sand, just fighting over a pile of money.
Because that's what it looks like on paper.
Exactly. But psychologically, that is almost never the actual shape of a family rupture.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the Vera's illusion like an autoimmune response in the family system.
Okay.
The body is grieving, it's panicked, and it starts attacking healthy tissue. In this case, other family members,
Yeah,
because it doesn't know how else to fight the pain.
that makes so much sense.
What we are really looking at are two nervous systems in complete catastrophic alarm. Both Tenisha and Pamela have been abruptly severed from the same person they loved most.
Yeah.
And according to attachment theory, when we lose an anchor like that, the body keeps asking two fundamental questions on a loop. Are you there for me? And am I enough for you?
And because Malcolm is gone and, can't answer those questions anymore, they are basically looking for the answers in the only things he left behind.
Exactly. They are using court filings, prenup agreements, and trust deeds to try and extract an answer. Was I his priority? Was I enough for him?
Wow.
Two women are passing legal pages back and forth, trying to read a truth in dollar amounts that dollar amounts were never, ever meant to carry.
I hear that, and I get the emotional angle. I really do. But Tanisha says she is actively struggling to care for her daughter as a single mom.
Right.
She says she is now the sole provider. So isn't this just raw survival? I mean, it feels a bit like trying to read poetry to someone who is actively drowning. She needs that $1 million to keep a roof over their heads and put her kid through college.
And that financial panic is very, very real. O'Sullivan isn't dismissing the reality of a mother trying to feed and protect her child at all. Real life requires real money.
Absolutely.
But he is explaining how that panic manifests in the courtroom through what he calls the waltz of pain.
The waltz of pain. That sounds like a terrible dance.
It really is.
Yeah.
Every couple or family in severe distress knows the choreography to this dance. One person inevitably takes on the protester posture.
Okay, what does that look like?
Underneath their anger, they are terrified of abandonment. They are terrified of being written out of the story. So they file motions, they escalate, they refuse to let the fight go because letting go feels like agreeing that they were never really loved or prioritized.
Oh, wow.
In this dynamic, Tanisha is clearly the protester.
And Pamela takes the other side of the dance.
Pamela takes the withdrawal posture. Underneath her stoicism, there is profound shame. The unbearable sense of not having been enough to protect her own son, and now that he's gone, he can't reassure her otherwise.
That's heartbreaking.
So the withdrawal defense? They rationalize,
Yeah.
they point at the legal documents and rely strictly on logic. They look perfectly composed while quietly dissociating from the actual grief.
It's like a shield.
Exactly. Both women are terrified. Neither can put it into words. So they bring in attorneys, because attorneys speak a dialect that doesn't require anyone in the room to actually feel a single thing.
Empathize shares this incredible story in their analysis about a couple spending $10,000 in legal fees fighting over a $40 toaster.
Yes, I love that example.
And why? Because the toaster represented the first Christmas they spent together. It was the last physical object she felt proved she mattered to him. The toaster was never just a toaster.
Never.
And in the Warner family, the prenup and the 1996 trust are their $40 toaster. They are fighting over the estate because it is the absolute last stage where Malcolm's love can be performed.
The competing bond between a wife and a mother doesn't dissolve at the funeral. It hardens.
Yeah.
The only person who could have answered those questions in his own voice and brought peace to both of them just isn't available anymore.
And, why should you care about a celebrity trust fund? Because you don't need a Cosby Show alum in your family tree to experience this exact dynamic.
Not at all.
Have you ever seen a family get torn apart over a parent's house? Or a cheap photo album? Or a wedding ring that isn't even worth much?
It happens every day.
This isn't just about Hollywood money. This is about the universal, messy, devastating way we process loss when the cold legal system collides with real human sorrow.
And hey, stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because understanding the why behind the headlines is exactly what we do here.
So what does this all mean, bringing it all together? A 26-year-old TV star writes a will in 1996. 30 years later, a sudden tragedy strikes, and a widow and a mother are left to decipher his final wishes in a courtroom.
Yeah.
There are no villains here. There is no evil mastermind. There are just two grieving women, a young daughter caught in the middle, and a legal apparatus that simply wasn't built to metabolize human sorrow.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a deep, unexplored thought based on the empathy article.
Okay, lay it on us.
O'Sullivan talks about the concept of a fiat relationship. Our culture teaches us that the size of a financial payout equals the size of the love. We measure connection in the currency of a system that cannot possibly hold a grieving body. Ask yourself, if you are gone tomorrow, What piece of paper, what document, or what physical object in your home would your loved ones cling to as proof that they mattered to you?
Wow.
And is that object carrying a weight it was never meant to hold?
That is heavy, but so true. Well, you've been listening to Starscope Report, where your hosts uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.